The Power of Self-Transformation, written and published by Sonic Tome. Transformation begins long before you're aware of it. It's the silent force stirring beneath your daily actions, quietly reshaping the contours of your life while you move through routines, conversations, and thoughts. Most people spend their lives unaware of this powerful current, unaware that deep within them, something is constantly shifting, waiting for recognition. The true beginning of personal change is not when you decide to take control, but when you acknowledge that the shift has been happening all along. For years, you've been carrying invisible layers of yourself, beliefs inherited from childhood, perceptions shaped by society, expectations formed by your experiences. These layers, like a second skin, define who you believe you are and what you think you're capable of. But here's the truth. Beneath all that noise lies an untapped potential, a version of yourself you've only glimpsed in rare, fleeting moments. Those moments, when time seems to slow down, when you feel completely in sync with the universe, are not accidents. They are glimpses into your true nature, and they hold the key to your evolution. Most people cling to the familiar, holding on to habits, routines, and ideas that have kept them safe, yet stagnant. They fear stepping into the unknown because it means letting go of control. But transformation requires more than just change. It requires a willingness to step into uncertainty, to surrender the illusion of who you've always been in exchange for something greater. The irony is, the more you resist, the more the hidden force of transformation grows within you, pushing against the boundaries of your comfort zone, daring you to release the chains that bind you. Every obstacle you face, every challenge that feels overwhelming is a catalyst, nudging you closer to that untapped potential. But the process is not linear. Growth is messy. It's filled with contradictions, discomfort, and unexpected turns. Yet, within that chaos lies a profound beauty. For it is in those moments of discomfort that you discover your strength. It is through adversity that you awaken the dormant forces within you, forces that have been lying in wait, ready to propel you forward the moment you choose to engage with them. True transformation is not about becoming someone else. It's about shedding the layers of who you are not. It's about unraveling the stories you've been telling yourself, stories that have limited your potential and kept you confined to a narrow version of reality. It's about questioning the narratives that no longer serve you and daring to rewrite them in a way that aligns with the person you are becoming. The journey ahead is not a journey of adding more, but of stripping away what no longer fits, until what remains is the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are at your core. There will be moments when the old versions of you fight to hold on, moments when your mind clings to the familiar, telling you that it's safer to remain where you are. But safety is not the same as fulfillment. Comfort is not the same as purpose. And mastery over your old self is only the beginning of the journey, not the end. There is a profound power in realizing that you are both the architect and the creation. Every thought, every action, every choice is part of the intricate design of your life. And the moment you fully embrace that responsibility is the moment your true transformation begins. As you step into this process, you'll start to see the world differently. Patterns that were once invisible become clear. What you once considered limitations now reveal themselves as opportunities. You'll learn that the external world is not separate from you, but a reflection of your internal state, a mirror of your deepest beliefs and emotions. And as your inner world evolves, so too will the world around you. But make no mistake, this journey is not about perfection. It's about awakening. Awakening to the truth that within you lies a power far greater than any external circumstance, any past experience, or any future fear. It is about realizing that you are not the product of your environment, but the creator of it. It's about discovering the immense freedom that comes when you stop seeking validation outside yourself and begin trusting the wisdom that already exists within. What you are about to embark on is more than just a personal journey. It is a process of alchemy, one that will not only transform you, but will ripple out into every aspect of your life, shifting relationships, opportunities, and even the very way you experience the world. This is not a simple change. This is an unraveling, a breaking apart, and a rebuilding. And when you emerge on the other side, you will not only have changed, you will have become the creator of your own reality. It all starts here, with the recognition that the power to transform has always been within you. Chapter 1. Unraveling the Inner Code. To truly transform, you must first confront the intricate design of your inner world, a labyrinth that guides your every decision, shapes your perceptions, and defines your interactions with the outer world. This inner code is a collection of beliefs, habits, and emotional imprints formed over time, often without your conscious awareness. It's not something visible or obvious, but is quietly working behind the scenes, creating the lens through which you see and experience life. This code is built from your earliest experiences, shaped by culture, family, and personal encounters, both good and bad. The way you react to criticism, for example, may not stem from the present moment, but could be a reflection of childhood moments where you felt vulnerable or judged. Similarly, the way you pursue success or shrink from opportunities is often not a conscious choice but an automatic response shaped by your subconscious programming. These imprints become so deeply ingrained that they blend into your identity, convincing you that this is who you are, when in truth, it is simply a narrative that has repeated itself so often that you have come to believe it. Understanding this inner code requires a deep sense of introspection, but not the kind of superficial self-reflection many people engage in. It involves asking the difficult questions, questions that may seem unsettling or uncomfortable at first. Why do certain things make you anxious? What drives your fear of failure or your need for approval? This process is less about finding immediate answers and more about peeling away the layers, revealing the real motivations behind your choices. As you begin to unravel these hidden patterns, it's essential to observe without judgment. The purpose of this exploration isn't to label parts of yourself as good or bad, but to recognize them for what they are, learned responses. Some of these responses may serve you well, while others may have outlived their usefulness, trapping you in cycles of behavior that no longer support your growth. But to see them clearly, you must approach this inner work with a sense of neutrality, detached from the need to immediately fix or change anything. In many ways, this process is like discovering the roots of a tree. While the leaves and branches are visible to everyone, the roots are hidden beneath the surface, silently nourishing the tree, allowing it to grow, or keeping it from flourishing. Your inner code is like these roots, determining the health and direction of your growth. Some roots may be healthy and strong, deeply embedded in a solid foundation, while others may be tangled or rotting, restricting your progress. To grow freely, you must first untangle the knots within, clearing away the old patterns that no longer serve your highest purpose. It's not enough to simply be aware of these patterns. Once uncovered, you must allow yourself the space to challenge them. The stories you tell yourself about your limitations, your worth, your place in the world can often seem immovable, as if they are set in stone. Yet, with careful attention, you will realize that these stories are fluid, changeable, and subject to the power of your awareness. The moment you recognize a limiting belief, you weaken its hold over you. The more you observe these inner scripts without being consumed by them, the easier it becomes to rewrite them. This journey into the depths of your inner code requires patience and persistence. There will be moments when you think you've uncovered everything, only to discover another layer, another hidden belief that has been influencing your life. This is the nature of unraveling. The process is not linear, nor is it simple. Some patterns will reveal themselves quickly, while others may take time, requiring more introspection and deeper understanding. But as you peel away these layers, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in the way you experience life. The reactions that once seemed automatic, fear in the face of uncertainty, frustration when things don't go as planned, will lose their intensity. You will find yourself responding to challenges in ways that are more aligned with your true self, rather than being controlled by old conditioning. Slowly, you will reclaim the ability to choose your actions consciously, rather than being driven by unconscious programming. In unraveling your inner code, you open the door to your authentic self, the part of you that exists beyond conditioning, beyond external expectations, beyond the limitations you've imposed on yourself. This self has always been there, waiting for the layers to fall away so that it can emerge. And as it begins to take the lead, you will notice a profound shift in your experience of life. What once felt like a struggle will begin to feel like flow. What once seemed impossible will become achievable, not through force, but through alignment with your true nature. This is the beginning of true self-transformation, not through the imposition of new habits or behaviors from the outside in, but through a deep inner shift that changes the very foundation of who you are. It is a journey of discovery, of unlearning the old stories, and of embracing the infinite potential that lies within you, waiting to be unlocked. Chapter 2. The Silent Shift Within. Transformation often begins not with loud declarations or dramatic events, but with quiet movements that go unnoticed at first. These shifts are subtle, like the imperceptible changing of the tides, but their effects ripple through every aspect of your being, quietly preparing the ground for deeper, more visible changes. There is an inherent power in this silence, for it allows transformation to occur without resistance, beyond the reach of your conscious mind's objections or fears. When you dive into these subtle forces, you'll find that true change starts within, long before it appears in your outer world. At first, these internal shifts might seem almost too subtle to recognize. They often begin as a slight change in perspective, an unnoticed adjustment in the way you react to familiar situations. You might not immediately realize what is happening, but somewhere within you, a new foundation is forming. There is no sudden epiphany, no clear turning point that signals the beginning of this shift. Instead, it is a quiet realignment, a new lens through which you begin to see yourself in the world. What once felt rigid and unchangeable starts to soften. This shift is often triggered by a combination of internal and external experiences, but the most profound change happens deep within. The inner landscape is fertile ground for transformation, yet it is often the most neglected. Just as a seed quietly germinates underground before breaking through the surface, so too do these silent forces work within you, unseen, but steadily growing. They are the whispers of intuition, the gentle nudges that guide you toward choices that reflect your true desires, rather than the external expectations placed upon you. The essence of this silent shift is subtle awareness. At times, it feels as if you are merely observing your own thoughts and feelings from a distance, noticing them without the compulsion to act upon them immediately. This heightened awareness reveals that your thoughts and emotions are not fixed, they are fluid, constantly shifting like currents beneath the surface. You begin to see how your emotional responses are not who you are, but merely passing states that you can observe without attachment. In this state of quiet observation, you begin to experience the separation between your true self and the automatic patterns you've been living under. These patterns have long been reinforced by habit, by societal conditioning, and by your own fears and insecurities. But the silent shift starts to loosen the grip of these forces. You are no longer bound by them, as you come to recognize that you are more than the sum of your past experiences or the thoughts that float through your mind. There is a sense of inner calm that accompanies this shift, a detachment from the urgency of daily life and its demands. While the external world continues at its usual pace, you find yourself moving more deliberately, not out of passivity but out of a newfound clarity. The frantic rush to achieve or prove something begins to diminish as you connect more deeply with the forces within you. This quiet transformation isn't about escaping the world, but about engaging with it from a place of inner strength and stillness. In this space, you begin to trust the process unfolding inside you. The silent shift isn't something you can force or control. It emerges naturally, like the opening of a flower at its own pace. The more you tune into it, the more you realize that this shift is guiding you toward a new way of being. Old desires and motivations that once seemed so important may begin to lose their appeal, replaced by a deeper sense of purpose and alignment with your true self. You start to notice that your actions are no longer driven by external validation, but by an inner sense of fulfillment. As this shift deepens, you also become more attuned to the subtle energies around you. You can sense when a situation or a person is out of alignment with your new internal state, and you begin to make decisions that honor this alignment. It's not about cutting off what no longer serves you in a dramatic fashion. Rather, it's a quiet reorientation. You simply start to gravitate toward environments, relationships, and experiences that resonate with your evolving self. One of the hallmarks of this silent shift is a newfound ability to let go of expectations, of control, of the need to force outcomes. There's a surrender to the natural flow of life, a trust that everything is unfolding as it should. This doesn't mean passivity or indifference. On the contrary, it is an active engagement with life, but from a place of openness rather than resistance. You stop clinging to outdated narratives about who you are or what you should achieve, and instead, you allow life to unfold in unexpected ways, knowing that this silent shift within you is preparing you for whatever comes next. This inward shift may not be something that others immediately notice, but over time, its effects become apparent. You start to approach challenges differently, with more patience and less fear. Your interactions with others shift as well, becoming more authentic and grounded. There is less need to prove yourself or to seek approval, for you are more attuned to the steady guidance of your own inner compass. The silent shift has set in motion a new path, one that is guided not by external pressures, but by the quiet wisdom within you. The transformation unfolding within is far more powerful than any external change could ever be. It's not about adopting new habits or strategies. It's about becoming someone who no longer needs them in the same way. The shift within creates a foundation of inner peace and clarity that allows you to navigate life's complexities with grace and resilience. You begin to understand that the true power of transformation doesn't come from the outside. It comes from this silent, invisible shift within you, an internal recalibration that sets the stage for the profound changes ahead. Chapter 3. Breaking the Invisible Chains. Invisible chains bind you more tightly than any physical restraint, yet their existence often remains hidden beneath the surface of your awareness. These chains are subtle, woven from the threads of limiting beliefs, past experiences, and societal conditioning that have shaped your perception of what is possible. They do not announce themselves, nor do they make their presence obvious. Instead, they quietly dictate your decisions, influence your behavior, and ultimately define the boundaries of your potential. These unseen forces keep you in a confined space of familiar comfort, convincing you that the limitations you experience are external when, in reality, they are internal. These chains often have their roots in early experiences, moments where vulnerability, fear, or disappointment took hold of you, in such a way that your mind created protective barriers to avoid future pain. Over time, these protections become habitual, solidifying into fixed patterns. Perhaps you experienced rejection in your early attempts at success, leading to a belief that you are not worthy or capable. Or maybe you were told repeatedly what you could and couldn't achieve, slowly internalizing these limits as truths. Such experiences leave a mark, gradually forming the invisible barriers that now dictate how far you believe you can go. Yet, as powerful as these chains may seem, they are illusory. They exist only in the mind, held together by fear and self-doubt. The moment you recognize their presence, they begin to lose their grip. The first step in breaking these chains is not to try to overcome them forcefully, but to acknowledge that they exist. By bringing them into the light of awareness, you expose the invisible architecture that has been shaping your life. This requires a level of honesty that can feel uncomfortable, as it means confronting the stories you've been telling yourself for years, stories of inadequacy, failure, or unworthiness. Once you have identified these unseen limitations, the next phase is to understand their origins. These chains were not born in isolation. They were created in response to specific experiences or external influences. As you trace them back to their source, you begin to see that these limitations are not inherent parts of who you are. They are learned responses, and anything that is learned can be unlearned. The key here is to differentiate between the stories you've been carrying and the reality of who you are. The stories may have served a purpose at one point, perhaps as a form of protection, but they are no longer relevant to the person you are becoming. Freeing yourself from these chains is not about rejecting the past, but about reframing it. The limitations that once defined you do not need to hold power over you anymore. You have the ability to reinterpret those past experiences, to see them not as indicators of your worth but as opportunities for growth. What once felt like a failure can now be seen as a lesson, an integral part of your journey. In this way, you transform the chains that once held you back into the very tools that will help you move forward. This process is not a single defining moment. It is an ongoing practice of letting go. Letting go of the need to prove yourself to others, of the fear of judgment, and of the belief that you must conform to external expectations. Each time you release one of these beliefs, you reclaim a piece of your power. You begin to operate from a place of inner freedom, no longer bound by the invisible forces that once controlled your actions. You make decisions based on your own values and desires, rather than the fear of failure or the desire for approval. The more you break these invisible chains, the more you realize that many of the limitations you once accepted as truths were self-imposed. They were not placed on you by the world, but by your own mind. And as you free yourself from them, you open up a new realm of possibility, one where you are no longer confined by the narrow expectations you once held for yourself. You begin to move through life with a sense of expansiveness, as if the world has grown larger simply because you have expanded your own internal limits. Breaking these chains requires more than just a shift in mindset. It requires action. You must take steps that contradict the limiting beliefs you've been holding. If you believe you are not capable of achieving something, the only way to break that belief is to step into the unknown and prove to yourself that you can. This may feel uncomfortable, as it forces you to confront the fears and doubts that have been holding you back. But it is in these moments of discomfort that the chains begin to loosen. Each time you take a step toward the unfamiliar, you weaken the hold of those invisible forces. As you continue to challenge these limitations, you'll find that your confidence grows. What once felt impossible now seems within reach, not because the external circumstances have changed, but because you have changed internally. You have broken free from the constraints of your old narrative, and in doing so, you have opened yourself up to new possibilities. This internal shift creates a ripple effect in your external life, as your newfound freedom and confidence begin to attract opportunities that were previously hidden from view. Ultimately, the invisible chains that once confined you are not as strong as they appear. They are constructs of the mind, reinforced by fear and uncertainty. But the moment you recognize them for what they are, they begin to unravel. You are no longer a prisoner of your past, nor are you bound by the limitations others have placed on you. The path to freedom lies in your ability to see beyond these invisible barriers, and to trust that you are capable of far more than you ever believed. Through this process of breaking the invisible chains, you step into a new version of yourself, one that is not defined by external limitations, but by the limitless potential within you. This is not a transformation that happens overnight, but with each step forward, the chains loosen, and the possibilities expand. You begin to live not from a place of restriction, but from a place of true freedom, where the only limits that exist are the ones you choose to accept. Chapter 4. The Catalyst of Change. Change, in its most profound form, is often sparked by moments that may seem insignificant at first, yet carry within them the seeds of monumental transformation. These catalysts are rarely grand events. They can be as subtle as a fleeting thought, a simple conversation, or an unexpected realization. They stir something deep within, awakening dormant potential that has been lying beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Often, they arrive unannounced, catching you off guard, and in that instant, everything begins to shift. The true catalyst of change is not external circumstances, but the internal reaction to them. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens that defines the course of your growth. You may face the same situation as countless others, but your reaction, driven by your unique inner landscape, determines whether that moment becomes a catalyst for growth or simply another fleeting experience. A catalyst, by its very nature, disrupts the status quo, forcing you to reevaluate what you once believed to be true. It challenges the narratives you've built around yourself, making space for something new to emerge. In many cases, the triggers for transformation are moments of discomfort or challenge. These are the moments where you are pushed out of your comfort zone, where you face uncertainty and fear. It's in these spaces of discomfort that the possibility for growth becomes most potent. When faced with the unknown, your instinct may be to retreat, to cling to the familiar. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of uncertainty that the spark of transformation is ignited. The discomfort becomes the fire that forges a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. But not all catalysts come in the form of hardship. Sometimes the trigger for growth is a moment of clarity, a sudden realization that shifts your entire perspective. These moments often feel like a light being turned on in a dark room, illuminating paths that were previously hidden. A simple insight can unlock doors that you didn't even realize were there, opening up possibilities that had once seemed out of reach. In these moments, change doesn't feel forced. It feels inevitable, as if you are being drawn toward a new version of yourself by a force greater than you. There is a certain magic in the unpredictability of these catalysts. You cannot plan for them or control when they will appear. They emerge from the flow of life, often when you least expect them. But when they do arrive, they carry with them an invitation, an opportunity to step into a new level of growth, a new chapter of your life. The question is not whether these catalysts will appear, but whether you will be ready to embrace them when they do. To recognize a catalyst for change, you must cultivate a heightened sense of awareness. Too often, the triggers for growth are overlooked or dismissed because they do not present themselves in obvious ways. The moment that sparks transformation may come in the form of a quiet realization during a mundane task, or in the midst of a conversation where something someone says resonates deeply with you. These are not grand gestures from the universe, but subtle nudges that are easily missed if you are not paying attention. In some cases, the catalyst for change is something you've been resisting for a long time. Perhaps it's a decision you've avoided making, a truth you've been unwilling to face, or a situation you've been reluctant to address. The longer you resist, the more the tension builds, until eventually, the pressure becomes too much to ignore. It's in this moment of surrender, when you finally release your grip on control, that the catalyst reveals itself. What once seemed like an insurmountable obstacle transforms into the gateway for your next level of growth. The key to embracing these catalysts is not to seek them out, but to remain open to them when they appear. You cannot force a moment of transformation, but you can prepare yourself to recognize it when it arrives. This requires a willingness to let go of preconceived notions about how change should happen. Transformation rarely looks the way you expect it to. It doesn't follow a predictable path, and it doesn't adhere to your timeline. But when you allow yourself to be guided by the flow of these catalysts, you align yourself with a deeper, more natural process of growth. It's also important to understand that catalysts for change don't always lead to immediate dramatic shifts. Sometimes, the change they trigger is subtle and unfolds over time. The moment may spark a new way of thinking, a different approach to a familiar problem, or the beginning of a new habit. These small, incremental shifts can be just as powerful as the more obvious, dramatic transformations. Over time, they accumulate, leading to a profound shift in your entire way of being. The catalyst of change can also be found in the people you encounter along your journey. Sometimes, a single conversation or connection with another person can alter the trajectory of your life. It may be a mentor who offers you guidance at a pivotal moment, a friend who challenges your perspective, or even a stranger whose story resonates deeply with your own. These interactions act as mirrors, reflecting back to you parts of yourself that you may not have fully acknowledged. In these reflections, you see new possibilities for who you can become. As you move through life, the key is to remain open and flexible, ready to pivot when these catalysts appear. Change is not something to be feared or resisted. It is the natural progression of your personal evolution. Each catalyst brings with it the potential for a new chapter, a new direction, a new understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. The more you embrace these moments, the more you will find that transformation is not something that happens to you, but something that flows through you. In the end, it's the willingness to embrace the unknown, to step into the discomfort of growth, that allows these catalysts to fulfill their purpose. They are the sparks that ignite the fire of transformation, but it is up to you to fan the flames and nurture the change. The catalysts will come, sometimes in the most unexpected ways, and when they do, they carry with them the power to reshape your life in ways you never imagined. Chapter 5. Walking Through Fire. Transformation, in its deepest form, is often born in the fires of trial. These moments of intensity, where discomfort feels overwhelming and the path forward seems uncertain, are the crucibles where your greatest growth occurs. Fire, in its nature, purifies and reshapes. To walk through fire is to willingly enter a space where you are confronted with challenges so fierce that they strip away everything inessential, revealing a new version of yourself that is stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with your true essence. The experience of walking through fire is not just about surviving difficulties. It is about embracing the transformative power of those difficulties. When you face circumstances that test you to your core, something fundamental within you begins to shift. The fire exposes your vulnerabilities, your fears, and the limitations you've imposed on yourself. But in the heat of the challenge, those very weaknesses are tempered into strengths. You are not the same person on the other side of the fire as you were before entering it. Each step forward burns away illusions and false identities, leaving behind only the raw material of who you truly are. The process is painful because it requires you to confront aspects of yourself that you may have hidden from for years. The fire doesn't allow for escape or avoidance. It demands that you face everything that has been buried in the depths of your subconscious, your insecurities, your doubts, your unresolved pain. The heat of the moment intensifies these feelings, bringing them to the surface in a way that can feel overwhelming. But this is where the true transformation begins. By facing what has long been avoided, you allow the fire to cleanse these aspects of yourself, making way for new growth. Many people fear walking through fire because it represents uncertainty and discomfort. The natural instinct is to resist or avoid the flames altogether, seeking safety in what is known and familiar. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you are pushed to your limits, forced to let go of the old ways of being that no longer serve you. The fire acts as a catalyst for this release, burning away the attachments that have kept you stuck in place. In its wake, there is space. Space for something new, something greater to emerge. The trials you face in the fire are often symbolic of the inner battles you have been waging for much longer. External challenges, whether they are personal, professional, or emotional, mirror the internal struggles you've been carrying. The fire forces you to reconcile these inner conflicts, to choose whether you will let them consume you or use them as fuel for transformation. The discomfort you feel in the midst of the trial is not meant to break you, but to reshape you. It is in this tension, between who you are and who you are becoming, that the true power of transformation lies. To walk through fire is also to accept the unpredictability of the journey. The flames do not move in a straight line. They are unpredictable, shifting, and changing direction without warning. In the same way, the path of transformation is rarely linear. You may find yourself moving forward, only to be knocked back by a new wave of challenges. This ebb and flow can feel disorienting, but it is all part of the process. The fire teaches you to let go of control, to surrender to the natural rhythms of growth. It shows you that sometimes, in order to move forward, you must first allow yourself to be consumed by the experience. In the midst of the fire, there is often a moment of reckoning, a point where you feel as though you cannot go on, where the heat becomes too intense and the discomfort too great. This is the threshold between your old self and the new self that is being forged. It is here, in this space of intense vulnerability, that you must make a choice. Retreat back into the familiar, or push forward into the unknown. Those who choose to continue walking through the fire, despite the pain and uncertainty, emerge on the other side transformed. They carry with them a new strength, a deeper understanding of their own resilience, and a sense of clarity that was not possible before. Walking through fire also requires a deep trust in the process. The fire may seem destructive, but its purpose is not to destroy, it is to refine. Just as gold is purified in the furnace, so too are you being refined in the trials you face. Each challenge, each moment of discomfort, is an opportunity to shed the layers of yourself that are no longer aligned with your true essence. The fire strips away the unnecessary, leaving behind only what is essential. What emerges from this process is a version of yourself that is not only stronger but more authentic. This process is not without its scars. Walking through fire leaves its mark, both physically and emotionally. The scars you carry are reminders of the trials you've faced and the growth you've undergone. But these scars are not something to hide or be ashamed of. They are symbols of your resilience and your willingness to confront the fire head-on. They show that you have walked through the flames and emerged not unscathed but transformed. Each scar tells a story of a moment when you could have given up but chose to continue forward, and in doing so, you discovered a strength you didn't know you had. The beauty of walking through fire is that it doesn't just change you, it also changes your relationship with the world around you. When you have faced the fire within yourself, the external challenges of life no longer hold the same power over you. You've learned that the true battles are not fought in the outside world, but within. The fire teaches you that your greatest enemy is not the circumstances you face, but the limitations you've placed on yourself. And once you've walked through those internal flames, you are no longer afraid of what life might throw at you. You know that whatever comes, you have the strength to walk through it. Walking through fire is an act of courage, of faith, and of surrender. It is the willingness to face the intensity of transformation, knowing that the only way out is through. The fire may burn, but it also illuminates. It reveals the truth of who you are and what you are capable of. And in the end, it is through the fire that you are reborn, refined, strengthened, and ready to step into the fullness of your potential. Chapter 6. Awakening Dormant Forces. Within each individual lies an immense well of untapped potential. These dormant forces are not hidden or inaccessible, but rather, they are waiting for the right moment, the right spark, to be brought to life. Many people go through life without ever realizing the full extent of what they are capable of, simply because these inner powers remain asleep beneath the surface. Awakening these forces requires more than mere intention. It demands a shift in how you see yourself and the world around you. These forces are not external. They are intrinsic to your very being, waiting for you to recognize their existence and call them into action. The process of awakening these dormant forces begins with an awareness that they are there. Most people are conditioned by society, their upbringing, and their environment to believe that their abilities are fixed and limited. This belief creates mental barriers that suppress these inner powers, trapping them in the subconscious. The first step in awakening them is to break free from these limiting perceptions. You must learn to see yourself not as a static being confined by external circumstances, but as a dynamic force capable of reshaping reality. This shift in perception opens the door to the vast potential that has always been inside you. Once you've developed this awareness, the next phase involves connecting with the deeper layers of your consciousness. These dormant forces exist at a level that goes beyond the everyday mind. They are not accessible through ordinary thinking or routine action. Instead, they reside in the deeper realms of your intuition, creativity, and emotional intelligence. To reach them, you must step out of the habitual patterns of thought that keep you grounded in the familiar and embrace the unknown. This is where the practice of silence, meditation, or focused intention becomes crucial, as it helps quiet the surface noise of the mind and allows these deeper forces to rise. As these forces begin to awaken, you may experience a profound shift in how you approach challenges and opportunities. What once seemed insurmountable now appears achievable, and tasks that once required immense effort flow more naturally. This is not because external conditions have changed, but because you have accessed a level of internal power that was previously dormant. These forces can manifest in a variety of ways, through heightened creativity, deeper insight, a surge in energy, or an ability to remain calm in the face of adversity. The key to fully harnessing them lies in trusting that they are a natural part of you. One of the most significant aspects of these dormant forces is their connection to purpose. When you align yourself with a deeper sense of purpose, these forces naturally begin to stir. Purpose acts as a magnetic pull that draws out the potential hidden within you. It gives direction to your energy and focuses your actions towards something greater than yourself. Without this sense of purpose, these forces may remain latent, as they lack the necessary stimulus to awaken. But when your actions and intentions are aligned with a purpose that resonates at the core of your being, these inner powers rise up to meet the demands of that purpose. At times, awakening these dormant forces can feel overwhelming. As they begin to emerge, they can disrupt the status quo, forcing you to confront aspects of yourself that you've kept hidden or ignored. These forces, once awakened, require space to operate freely, and that may mean letting go of old habits, beliefs, and relationships that no longer serve your growth. This process can be uncomfortable, as it often involves stepping outside the safety of your comfort zone and into a realm of uncertainty. Yet, it is precisely in this discomfort that the forces within you gain strength and clarity. Another crucial element in awakening these dormant forces is the cultivation of self-discipline. These inner powers, once activated, require direction and focus. Without discipline, they can become scattered or misused, leading to frustration or burnout. Discipline allows you to channel these forces with precision, using them to achieve meaningful results, rather than letting them dissipate. This discipline is not about controlling or suppressing these forces, but about guiding them in a way that aligns with your highest goals. It requires a balance of patience and persistence, knowing when to act and when to step back and allow these forces to unfold naturally. The awakening of dormant forces is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. As you grow and evolve, new layers of potential will reveal themselves, waiting to be activated. This process requires continuous exploration of your inner world, a willingness to push beyond the limitations of your current understanding. As each new force awakens, it opens the door to even greater possibilities. This process feeds on itself, creating a cycle of growth and expansion that continues throughout your life. It is also important to recognize that these dormant forces are not separate from the rest of you. They are an integral part of who you are, connected to your mind, body, and spirit. Awakening them is not about becoming someone else or acquiring something external, but about returning to the fullness of your own being. These forces are the expression of your highest potential, the part of you that is already whole and complete. When you tap into them, you are aligning with the natural flow of your own evolution, allowing yourself to become the person you were always meant to be. The journey to awaken these dormant forces is unique to each individual. There is no single path or formula to follow. For some, the awakening may happen suddenly, sparked by a moment of crisis or inspiration. For others, it may unfold gradually over time as they deepen their self-awareness and inner connection. Regardless of how it happens, the key is to remain open to the process, trusting that the forces within you will awaken when the time is right. As you continue on this path, you will begin to notice that these dormant forces are not just limited to your own personal growth. They have the potential to influence the world around you. When you awaken your inner powers, you also awaken your ability to affect change on a larger scale. Your actions, thoughts, and intentions begin to ripple outward, influencing the people and environments you interact with. This is one of the most profound aspects of awakening dormant forces. They not only transform you but also have the power to transform the world. To awaken these forces is to step into a new level of awareness and responsibility. With great power comes the responsibility to use it wisely and for the greater good. As you tap into your inner potential, you are given the opportunity to create, to heal, and to inspire. These forces, once awakened, become a source of infinite possibility, offering you the chance to live a life that is not just about survival, but about thriving in your fullest expression. The potential within you is vast, And as you continue to awaken these forces, you will discover just how limitless you truly are. Chapter 7. The Alchemy of Thought and Action. The interplay between thought and action is a transformative process that transcends mere intention. It is a fusion of the mental and physical realms, where ideas and emotions fuel tangible outcomes. The mind, when harnessed effectively, becomes the architect of reality. It is not enough to think about change or to desire growth. It requires translating these thoughts into decisive action. The real magic, or alchemy, happens when thought and action merge seamlessly, creating a powerful force capable of reshaping your life in ways that are profound and lasting. Every thought you hold, whether conscious or subconscious, carries energy. This energy has the power to shape your internal landscape and, in turn, influence your external reality. But thought alone, no matter how potent, remains dormant without action. It is the decisions you make, the steps you take, that give form to your thoughts. When aligned, thought and action become a unified force, driving you toward the life you envision. This alignment requires not just intention but also clarity. Your thoughts must be clear, focused, and grounded in a deep sense of purpose for them to translate effectively into meaningful action. Emotions, often seen as fleeting, are central to this process. They are the catalysts that either propel you forward or hold you back. When harnessed correctly, emotions provide the fuel necessary to turn thought into action. It's not about suppressing or controlling emotions, but understanding them. Recognizing how your emotional state influences your decisions is key to mastering the alchemy of thought and action. For instance, fear can either paralyze or propel you, depending on how you choose to engage with it. When emotions and thoughts are in harmony, they create a momentum that amplifies the effectiveness of your actions. One of the most critical aspects of this alchemy is the bridge between intention and execution. It's easy to get stuck in the realm of ideas, where everything is theoretical and safe, but action demands vulnerability and courage. It asks you to step outside the realm of possibilities and into the realm of reality, where things are uncertain and outcomes are not guaranteed. This is where many people falter. They have the right thoughts, they feel deeply motivated, but they hesitate when it comes to taking that crucial step into action. It is the willingness to act, even when the path is unclear, that activates the transformative power of thought. Consistency is another key ingredient in this alchemical process. One decisive action is not enough to sustain change. Real transformation comes from repeated, intentional actions that are aligned with your thoughts and emotions. Each step forward builds upon the last, creating a cumulative effect that eventually leads to significant personal change. This is where discipline plays a vital role. The more you commit to acting on your thoughts, the more momentum you build, and the easier it becomes to maintain the cycle of thought-action-thought. Over time, this consistency turns into mastery. It's also essential to understand the role of feedback in this process. Every action you take generates a result, and those results feed back into your thought process. This feedback loop is critical for refining your approach and ensuring that your actions remain aligned with your goals. The mind is not static, and neither should your actions be. As you grow and evolve, your thoughts will shift, and your actions must adapt accordingly. This dynamic interplay between thought and action ensures that your personal transformation is not only sustained, but also deepened over time. Another important aspect of this alchemical process is intention. Intention is what sets the stage for how your thoughts and actions will unfold. Without clear intention, your actions can become scattered, and your thoughts may lack direction. When intention is present, it acts as a guiding force, ensuring that both your thoughts and actions are aligned with a higher purpose. This is where the mind and heart must work in unison. The mind generates ideas and strategies, but it is the heart, the seat of your intentions, that provides the motivation and meaning behind those ideas. In this alchemy, there is also the recognition that not every thought needs immediate action, and not every action will lead to immediate results. There is a rhythm to this process, a balance that must be struck between contemplation and execution. Sometimes the most powerful action is to wait, to allow your thoughts to marinate, to refine your emotions, and to prepare for the right moment to act. Other times, decisive action is required, even when you are not entirely sure of the outcome. The mastery of thought and action lies in knowing when to move and when to pause. It's important to understand that thought and action are not isolated events but part of a continuous cycle. Every action you take feeds new thoughts, which then lead to further action. This cycle is ongoing, and the more aware you become of its rhythm, the more you can harness it to create intentional change in your life. This requires mindfulness, a constant awareness of where your thoughts are leading you and how your actions are shaping your reality. By staying attuned to this cycle, you gain the ability to steer your life in the direction of your choosing. This alchemical process is not about forcing outcomes, but about aligning with a flow that is already present. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony, you tap into a greater energy that supports your growth and transformation. It's not about pushing or striving, but about flowing with a deeper current of purpose and possibility. This is where true power lies, not in controlling every detail, but in mastering the art of alignment, where your inner world and outer actions work together to create the life you are meant to live. As you continue to refine this process, you will notice that your actions become more effortless and your results more impactful. What once required immense effort will begin to flow naturally because your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all working in concert. This is the essence of the alchemy of thought and action. It transforms not just what you do, but how you do it, and in doing so, it transforms you. Chapter 8. The Paradox of Stillness. In a world constantly urging motion, progress, and outward achievement, stillness can seem counterintuitive, even paradoxical. Yet true transformation often arises not from ceaseless activity, but from moments of profound inner calm. Stillness is the quiet force that creates space for growth, providing the clarity and insight necessary to fuel radical change. It is within these moments of quiet that the most significant shifts begin, as they allow for a deeper connection to the self and to the forces shaping one's life. Stillness, far from being passive, is an active state of awareness. It is not about the absence of thought or emotion, but about a heightened sensitivity to the present moment. In this quiet, one can hear the subtle whispers of intuition, which are often drowned out by the noise of daily life. The mind, when quieted, begins to reveal patterns that were previously hidden. In the stillness, clarity emerges, and with it, the strength to make decisions that align with one's higher self. This clarity serves as a compass, guiding choices that lead to profound external shifts. This paradox of stillness lies in its ability to amplify focus and intention. When the mind is calm, it can concentrate its energy on what truly matters. Without the distractions of fear, doubt, or external pressure, your inner voice gains prominence. It's this voice that holds the key to transformation, as it is unburdened by the superficial concerns that often cloud judgment. In these moments of stillness, you connect to your core essence, allowing for a more authentic expression of your true self in the world. From this connection, action becomes purposeful, and change inevitable. Stillness is not just about retreating from the chaos, but about cultivating an internal environment where you can confront that chaos with grace. In stillness, there is the opportunity to observe emotions, thoughts, and reactions without being overwhelmed by them. You begin to see the turbulence of life, not as something to be feared, but as part of the natural ebb and flow. This detachment, however, doesn't imply indifference. Rather, it offers a perspective that allows you to engage more meaningfully, as you are no longer controlled by external circumstances or reactive patterns. From this grounded state, real transformation can occur. The greatest power of stillness is in how it sharpens perception. When the mind is not rushing to conclusions or filled with the noise of distractions, it can perceive things as they truly are. This enhanced perception allows for deeper understanding, not just of the self, but of the world around you. Stillness opens the door to insights that cannot be reached through mere thought or action alone. It grants access to the underlying truths that drive behavior and shape outcomes. In this way, stillness becomes a tool for transformation, providing the clarity necessary to make impactful changes. In stillness, you become aware of the subtle forces at work in your life, the patterns that influence your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. These forces are often invisible amidst the hustle of daily life, but in moments of quiet, they become clear. With this awareness, you gain the ability to shift these patterns, breaking free from the cycles that have held you back. Stillness offers the perspective needed to identify what no longer serves you, making space for new possibilities to emerge. It is the calm before the storm of transformation, allowing you to realign with your purpose. Contrary to popular belief, stillness does not lead to inaction. In fact, it is from this state of inner calm that the most decisive and impactful actions arise. When you are still, your actions become deliberate and intentional, free from the scattershot approach that often accompanies hurried decision-making. These actions, born of stillness, carry with them a force and momentum that far outweigh actions taken from a place of agitation or restlessness. They are imbued with clarity, purpose, and a deep alignment with your true self, creating ripples of change that extend far beyond the immediate moment. Moreover, stillness allows for a reconnection with the deeper rhythms of life. In stillness, you attune to the cycles of nature, the ebb and flow of energy that governs all things. This attunement grants you a sense of timing, an understanding of when to act and when to wait. There is power in knowing that not all action must be immediate, that sometimes the greatest shift comes from allowing things to unfold in their own time. Stillness teaches patience, a crucial element of transformation, as true change often requires time to take root. In this way, stillness becomes the gateway to lasting external shifts. The paradox of stillness is also found in its ability to rejuvenate and energize. While it may seem that stillness is about withdrawal or rest, it is, in fact, a source of great vitality. In the moments of quiet, you recharge your inner reserves, refilling the well from which all creative and transformative energy flows. The energy that is often dissipated in mindless activity is conserved and redirected toward meaningful growth. In this way, stillness is not an escape from life, but a preparation for deeper engagement with it. Stillness offers the opportunity to recalibrate. As the external world pulls you in many directions, stillness provides a sanctuary where you can realign with your inner compass. It's in this space of quiet that you can assess your life, your actions, and your goals from a place of detached clarity. This recalibration is essential for ensuring that your external shifts are not merely reactive, but are born from a deep-centered knowing. From this place you can move forward with confidence, assured that your actions are aligned with your true desires and purpose. Ultimately, the paradox of stillness is that it is the very force that fuels dynamic change. By retreating inward, you gather the strength, clarity, and purpose needed to effect radical external transformation. It is not through constant motion or unrelenting effort that true growth occurs, but through moments of intentional pause. In these moments, you reconnect with the deeper currents of life, allowing them to guide you toward the changes that will shape your future. Stillness is not the absence of movement, but the birthplace of profound and lasting transformation. Chapter 9. Rewriting the Narrative. Every individual carries a narrative, a collection of stories that form the foundation of their identity. These narratives are woven from past experiences, beliefs, and perceptions, often determining how we perceive ourselves and our potential. Yet, what if this narrative is not fixed, but rather a fluid construct that can be rewritten? The power to reshape our personal stories is a fundamental aspect of self-transformation. By revisiting and redefining the narratives we hold, we unlock the ability to craft a more empowering personal reality. Rewriting your narrative begins with a deep examination of the stories you have internalized. Often these tales are rooted in early experiences, social conditioning, and cultural expectations. They may reflect limitations imposed by others or by ourselves, narratives that diminish our worth and potential. Recognizing these entrenched stories is crucial. It is the first step toward liberation. Many individuals find themselves confined by scripts that no longer serve them, shackled to identities that are outdated or misaligned with their true selves. In this exploration, one must confront the beliefs that underpin these narratives. These beliefs, often hidden in the subconscious, dictate how we respond to life's challenges and opportunities. It's essential to challenge the validity of these beliefs, questioning their origins and relevance. By doing so, you create a fertile ground for new ideas and perspectives to take root. Instead of viewing yourself through the lens of past failures or external judgments, you begin to see the possibilities that lie ahead. This shift allows for a broader understanding of what you are capable of achieving. Once you identify the limitations of your existing narrative, the process of rewriting it can begin. This involves consciously choosing new stories that reflect your aspirations, values, and strengths. It's an act of creative courage, an invitation to envision a self that is aligned with your deepest desires. When you start to frame your experiences through a more positive and empowering lens, you begin to shift your perception of reality. You transform the setbacks into lessons, viewing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. This reimagining is a powerful tool. It provides the framework for building resilience and adaptability in the face of adversity. Visualization plays a significant role in this narrative shift. By vividly imagining the life you wish to lead, you activate the mind's capacity to create pathways toward those goals. This mental rehearsal not only inspires motivation, but also influences your behavior, guiding you toward choices that align with your rewritten narrative. As you visualize your desired outcomes, you anchor those images in your mind, making them feel more tangible and achievable. In addition to visualization, affirmations can serve as a means of reinforcing your new narrative. These statements become powerful reminders of your intentions, shifting your mindset toward positivity and possibility. By regularly affirming your strengths and potential, you retrain your subconscious to align with this new story. Over time, these affirmations build confidence, enabling you to take bolder steps toward your goals. This practice of repetition creates a new internal dialogue, fostering a sense of empowerment that becomes integral to your identity. The act of storytelling itself can be a transformative experience. Writing your narrative down, whether through journaling, poetry, or other forms of expression, allows you to articulate your new vision clearly. This process of externalizing your thoughts not only clarifies your intentions, but also serves as a powerful declaration of your commitment to change. Each word becomes a building block for the reality you wish to create, reinforcing the belief that you are the author of your life's story. Engaging with others in this narrative rewriting can also be profoundly beneficial. Sharing your new story with trusted friends or mentors can provide invaluable feedback and support. Their perspectives can help refine your narrative, offering insights that you may not have considered. Furthermore, surrounding yourself with individuals who resonate with your new story creates a supportive community, fostering an environment where growth is celebrated. As you continue to reshape your narrative, it's essential to embrace the journey itself. Change is rarely linear. It often involves navigating setbacks and uncertainties. However, viewing these experiences as integral parts of your new story enhances resilience. Each twist and turn can be reframed as a vital component of your growth, enriching the tapestry of your life with depth and meaning. Embracing imperfections and acknowledging the fluidity of your journey empowers you to keep moving forward, no matter the challenges. Additionally, consider the values that underpin your rewritten narrative. What principles will guide your decisions and actions? Establishing these guiding values creates a strong foundation for your new identity. When faced with choices, these values act as a compass, helping you to remain aligned with your vision. This alignment fosters authenticity, ensuring that your actions resonate with your new story and reinforcing the belief that you are indeed the author of your life. Ultimately, the process of rewriting your narrative is an ongoing journey of self-discovery and growth. It requires a willingness to embrace change, challenge old beliefs, and step into the unknown. As you embark on this transformative path, remember that your story is not defined by your past, but is continually shaped by your present choices. By consciously crafting your narrative, you empower yourself to create a reality that reflects your true essence and aspirations. The power to redefine your personal reality lies within you, waiting to be unleashed through the act of storytelling. Chapter 10. Becoming Your Own Architect. Stepping into the role of your own architect means recognizing the immense power you hold in shaping the life you desire. This process involves not merely reacting to circumstances, but actively designing a life that reflects your authentic self and aspirations. When you become the architect of your existence, you start to perceive yourself as a creator rather than a bystander, engaging in a continuous act of building and remodeling based on your evolving vision. The journey begins with a profound understanding of your core values and aspirations. These foundational elements serve as the blueprint for your life, guiding the decisions you make and the paths you pursue. To effectively design your life, you must first clarify what matters most to you. This might involve deep reflection on what brings you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose. By aligning your daily actions with your values, you ensure that your life structure is solid and coherent, allowing you to construct a meaningful narrative. Visualization plays a crucial role in this architectural endeavor. Envisioning your ideal life provides you with a clear target to aim for. This mental exercise allows you to create detailed imagery of your goals, whether they are related to career, relationships, health, or personal growth. As you engage in this visualization, allow yourself to immerse in the emotions that accompany these aspirations. Feel the excitement, joy, and satisfaction that come with envisioning your dreams realized. This emotional connection reinforces your commitment and ignites the motivation necessary to turn those visions into reality. From visualization, the next step is to draft a strategic plan. Just as an architect sketches out blueprints, you need to outline the steps necessary to construct your desired life. This plan should include short-term and long-term goals, as well as specific actions required to achieve them. Break down each goal into manageable tasks, creating a clear path forward. This structure not only makes your ambitions more attainable, but also keeps you accountable as you progress. Each small step is a building block, contributing to the overall architecture of your life. In this process, adaptability becomes essential. As you begin to implement your plans, you may encounter unforeseen challenges or opportunities that necessitate adjustments to your initial design. Embracing a flexible mindset allows you to modify your plans while staying true to your core values and vision. This adaptability transforms setbacks into learning experiences, enabling you to refine your approach and continue moving forward. It is through these adjustments that your design evolves, becoming more resilient and aligned with your changing self. Engaging with your environment is another key aspect of this architectural journey. Surround yourself with elements that inspire and support your vision. This includes creating physical spaces that reflect your identity and values, whether that means curating a nurturing home environment, seeking out stimulating workspaces, or building a community of like-minded individuals. Your surroundings should serve as catalysts for your transformation, reinforcing your intentions and providing the encouragement you need to pursue your dreams. Collaboration also plays a vital role in your journey as an architect. While you are the primary creator of your life, seeking the insights and expertise of others can enhance your design. Engage with mentors, peers, and trusted advisors who can provide guidance and feedback. Their perspectives can reveal blind spots or new possibilities you may not have considered, enriching the blueprint of your life. This collaborative spirit fosters a sense of connection, reminding you that while you are the architect, you are not alone in your endeavor. As you progress, it's essential to celebrate milestones along the way. Recognizing your achievements, no matter how small, reinforces the progress you're making and keeps your motivation alive. These celebrations act as markers on your journey, reminding you of the commitment you've made to your design. Gratitude for your achievements also enhances your mindset, allowing you to remain positive and focused as you continue to build your life. Ultimately, becoming your own architect is about embracing a proactive and empowered approach to life. It invites you to take ownership of your journey, actively shaping it rather than merely existing within it. This creative role empowers you to craft a narrative that resonates with your true self, allowing you to express your uniqueness in every aspect of your existence. By consistently aligning your actions with your values and vision, You build a life that is not only fulfilling but also a true reflection of who you are and what you aspire to become. In this process of design and construction, remember that your architectural journey is ongoing. Life is not a fixed structure, but a dynamic creation, continually evolving as you grow and transform. Embrace the fluidity of this process, allowing your identity and aspirations to inform your design at every stage. By doing so, you cultivate a profound sense of purpose and fulfillment, becoming a true architect of your destiny. Chapter 11. The Ripple Effect. When one person embarks on a journey of self-transformation, the changes they undergo are rarely confined to their own being. The internal shifts you experience create ripples that extend far beyond your own life, touching and influencing others in ways that are often invisible but deeply impactful. These waves of influence radiate outward, subtly reshaping the people, communities, and environments around you. Transformation is never a solitary endeavor. It reverberates, altering the fabric of the world you inhabit. At the core of this ripple effect is the energy you carry and project. As you evolve, your energy transforms, becoming more aligned, more vibrant, and more authentic. This shift is palpable to those around you, even if they are unaware of its source. When you radiate clarity, strength, or peace, people in your orbit feel it, consciously or unconsciously. They are drawn to it, influenced by it, and often inspired to initiate their own shifts. The energy you bring into a room, a conversation, or a relationship has the power to uplift, heal, or motivate those who come into contact with it. This is the unseen force that propels the ripple effect outward. Relationships, too, are profoundly altered by your growth. As you change internally, your interactions with others naturally shift. Old patterns of communication or behavior that may have been driven by insecurity, fear, or a need for validation begin to dissolve. In their place, more meaningful, authentic connections emerge. You start engaging with others from a place of strength, clarity, and empathy, which transforms the dynamics of your relationships. This can lead to deeper bonds, more honest conversations, and healthier connections. And when you bring these qualities into your interactions, you create space for the people around you to grow as well, encouraging them to step into their own power. The ripple effect also manifests in the way you approach challenges and obstacles. As you become more resilient, adaptive, and solution-oriented, your response to difficulties changes. Rather than being overwhelmed by problems or reacting impulsively, you begin to approach them with calmness and clarity. This shift not only benefits you, but also influences those who observe you. In moments of crisis or uncertainty, people look to those who are grounded and composed for guidance. Your ability to remain centered in challenging situations sets an example for others, encouraging them to adopt similar approaches in their own lives. Your choices, both large and small, are another way in which the ripple effect spreads. Every decision you make, from how you spend your time to the values you uphold, sends out waves of influence. When you choose to act with integrity, to prioritize kindness, or to pursue excellence, you raise the standards for those around you. People notice how you live your life, and whether consciously or not, they begin to question their own choices. Over time, this leads to subtle but significant shifts in their behavior, as they are inspired to act in ways that reflect their highest potential. The ripple effect of your transformation also extends into your work or creative endeavors. Whether you're leading a team, creating art, or engaging in a personal project, the energy and intention you bring to your work influences its impact. When your actions are infused with purpose and passion, the results resonate more deeply with others. Your work becomes a reflection of your transformation, and it carries the potential to inspire change in those who experience it. This is how personal evolution can lead to societal evolution, through the creation of work that reflects higher consciousness, deeper empathy, and greater understanding. As the ripple effect continues to spread, it touches your community. The way you show up in your local environment, whether through acts of service, leadership, or simply being a positive presence, can inspire collective growth. Your willingness to contribute, to uplift, and to share your insights fosters a culture of mutual support and growth. Communities thrive when individuals within them are committed to their own evolution, because that commitment inevitably extends to the collective. The ripple effect within a community can lead to profound shifts in collective consciousness, encouraging more cooperation, compassion, and shared purpose. On a larger scale, the ripple effect of your transformation can contribute to societal change. As more individuals undergo personal transformations and embody values of integrity, compassion, and resilience, the collective consciousness begins to shift. This shift can influence institutions, systems, and cultures, creating space for more equitable, sustainable, and compassionate ways of living. The changes you make in your personal life, when multiplied by many individuals doing the same, have the power to reshape society as a whole. The ripple effect, though often subtle at first, can build momentum, leading to profound shifts on a global scale. Ultimately, the ripple effect is a reminder that your personal transformation is not just about you. Every step you take toward becoming the best version of yourself sends out waves of influence that impact the world in ways you may never fully see or understand. The energy you cultivate, the actions you take, and the presence you bring to the world are all part of a larger, interconnected web of influence. Through your transformation, you become a catalyst for change, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys and, in turn, creating a more evolved, conscious, and compassionate world. Chapter 12. The Journey Beyond Mastery. Mastery is often seen as the pinnacle of personal growth, the point at which one has honed their skills, developed deep self-awareness, and achieved a sense of control over their own life. Yet mastery is not an endpoint. It is merely a gateway to something far more expansive. Beyond the realm of mastery lies an uncharted territory, an ongoing evolution that transcends the limits of what you once considered possible. The path beyond mastery is not a destination, but a continuous journey, one that invites you to step into a space where you are no longer bound by the same rules, expectations, or constraints. The first step in this journey is the realization that mastery, while powerful, is finite. It is built upon the systems, beliefs, and understandings that have brought you to this point. But as you grow, those systems become the foundation upon which something new can emerge. You begin to see that mastery itself can become a limitation if you cling too tightly to it. True evolution requires letting go of the need to control and allowing yourself to move into unknown spaces where growth is not about perfecting what you already know, but about embracing what you do not yet understand. In this space, curiosity becomes your greatest ally. The more you explore beyond mastery, the more you realize that the universe is vast, and the potential for growth is limitless. You begin to cultivate a mindset that is open, not only to new knowledge and experiences, but to transformation at a fundamental level. This openness allows you to break through the boundaries of your previous understanding and to see the world and yourself in new and unexpected ways. You no longer approach life as a series of problems to solve or challenges to overcome, but as a constantly unfolding mystery, full of wonder and possibility. The journey beyond mastery also involves embracing paradox. At this level of growth, you may encounter ideas, experiences, or emotions that seem contradictory. Yet rather than seeking to resolve these contradictions, you learn to hold them in balance. You recognize that life is full of dualities, light and dark, strength and vulnerability, control and surrender, and that true evolution lies in your ability to navigate these complexities without needing to simplify or explain them away. You begin to understand that the greatest wisdom often comes from holding two opposing truths in harmony. As you evolve, you start to detach from the need for external validation. Mastery, for many, is often tied to recognition, whether in the form of achievements, accolades, or the approval of others. But beyond mastery, you discover a deeper sense of fulfillment that is not dependent on outside sources. You learn to trust your own internal compass, and your growth becomes self-driven, rooted in your desire to explore new heights and depths within yourself. The pursuit of mastery gives way to the pursuit of meaning, purpose, and alignment with the deeper forces of life. In this stage, You may also come to realize that your identity is far more fluid than you once believed. The self that you worked so hard to understand and master begins to dissolve as you step into a larger, more expansive sense of being. You no longer see yourself as a fixed entity with a singular purpose or path. Instead, you recognize that you are constantly evolving, and that who you are today may not be who you will be tomorrow. This realization allows you to live with a greater sense of freedom and creativity, unburdened by the need to conform to a fixed idea of who you should be. The journey beyond mastery also invites you to engage with the world in a different way. No longer driven by a desire to achieve or control, you begin to act from a place of service and contribution. Your actions are not about proving your worth or solidifying your place in the world, but about making a meaningful impact on the lives of others. You recognize that the more you grow, the more responsibility you have to share your wisdom, to uplift those around you, and to contribute to the greater good. This is not a burden but a natural extension of your own evolution, a recognition that your growth is interconnected with the growth of all beings. At this level, time itself begins to take on a different meaning. Whereas mastery is often about accomplishing goals within a set time frame, the journey beyond mastery is timeless. You are no longer rushing toward a specific outcome or future destination. Instead, you learn to move with the natural rhythms of life, trusting that everything unfolds in its own time. Patience and presence become your guiding principles, and you begin to appreciate the beauty of each moment, knowing that every experience, no matter how small, contributes to your ongoing evolution. As you continue on this path, you may also experience a profound sense of unity with the world around you. The distinctions between self and other, between the individual and the collective, begin to blur. You see that your personal growth is not separate from the growth of the world, but is inextricably linked to it. This awareness brings with it a sense of connection to something larger than yourself, a universal consciousness or energy that flows through all things. You begin to act not from a place of individual ambition, but from a sense of alignment with this greater force. The journey beyond mastery is not without its challenges. There will be moments of uncertainty, discomfort, and doubt as you navigate new terrain. Yet, these challenges are no longer seen as obstacles to overcome, but as opportunities for deeper growth. You come to understand that each difficulty, each moment of confusion or discomfort, is a necessary part of your evolution. Rather than resisting these moments, you learn to embrace them, trusting that they are guiding you toward greater understanding and insight. Ultimately, the journey beyond mastery is about embracing the unknown. It is about stepping into a space where there are no clear answers or formulas for success. It is about trusting in the process of evolution itself, knowing that each step you take, no matter how uncertain, is leading you toward a deeper and more profound sense of being. It is a journey without an endpoint, one that invites you to keep expanding, keep growing, and keep evolving in ways that you may never have imagined possible. Conclusion. Transformation doesn't have a finish line. It's not a moment you reach, plant your flag, and declare victory. Instead, it's a lifelong journey that unfolds in layers, each more revealing than the last. With every breakthrough, every shift in perspective, you're not just becoming a new version of yourself, you're returning to the essence of who you've always been. And yet, this journey, with all its twists and turns, doesn't conclude in a place of finality. Instead, it opens up an ever-expanding horizon of possibility. As you stand here, having walked through fire, unraveled your inner code, and unleashed dormant forces, you've gained something far more valuable than change: awareness. You now understand that the world outside mirrors the world within, and that your thoughts, actions, and choices create the architecture of your life. But this realization is not a stopping point. It's the beginning of a deeper awakening, a new chapter that continues beyond this book, beyond what you once imagined possible. Throughout this journey, you've faced limitations that you didn't even know existed, those invisible chains that held you back from your true potential. You've learned to break free from those restraints and, in doing so, have opened yourself up to a new way of living. A way that doesn't just react to life but actively shapes it. You've become the architect, the designer of your path, and the choices you make now come from a place of intentionality and clarity. And yet, even as you've stepped into the role of creator, something profound has begun to shift. You realize that transformation, while deeply personal, isn't just about you. The ripple effect of your evolution extends far beyond your own life. It touches the lives of others, influences the world around you, and becomes a catalyst for change in places you may never see. Every thought, every action that comes from this newfound awareness carries the potential to shape not only your reality, but the collective reality of those who cross your path. But there's more. As you've delved into this process of self-transformation, you've glimpsed something beyond personal mastery, the uncharted territory of continuous evolution. You now understand that there is no final version of yourself. Life is not about achieving perfection or arriving at some ultimate destination. It's about constant growth, about embracing the unknown with curiosity and courage. There will always be new layers to uncover, new patterns to unravel, and new forces to awaken within you. You may ask, what lies beyond this? The answer is both simple and profound. More growth, more understanding, more connection to the world and to yourself. The journey beyond mastery is one of infinite expansion, where you're no longer striving for transformation, but living it in every moment. It's about realizing that life itself is the greatest teacher, and that with every breath, you have the opportunity to evolve further. There will be challenges ahead. The old patterns may re-emerge, trying to pull you back into the familiar, but you are no longer the same person you were when you began. You've walked this path, gained the awareness, and now possess the tools to navigate whatever lies ahead. You've learned that discomfort is not something to be feared but embraced, for it is the doorway to the next level of your evolution. As you move forward, keep this truth close. The power to transform is not something external, something you need to search for or chase. It has always been within you, waiting for you to recognize it, to activate it, to trust it. And now that you have, there is no limit to what you can become. This is the beginning of the rest of your journey. A journey not bound by what has been, but fueled by the limitless potential of what can be. Keep walking, keep evolving, and remember, you are the creator of your life, and with every step, you are writing a new chapter in the story of your transformation. The path is yours to shape, and the journey is far from over.